Hello and welcome back to this series. So I'm creating a bunch of tutorials which are basically just an introduction to Python for beginners, and it will have a special use case that is data analytics and science. So yeah, for anyone who's not watched the video that came before this one, please feel free to go and watch it. I'm still using Google Colab. I plan to use Google Colab all the way to the end of this series. And in that specific video, I show you guys how to access Google Colab and also explain why I prefer to use Google Colab over Jupyter Notebook over Jupyter Notebook. So yeah, in this specific tutorial, we're going to be talking about 4 Python data types. So that is float, integer, strings, and Boolean. Yeah, so I'm just going to be showing you how to check data types, how to change/convert data types. So that is it. And then I also remember that in the previous video, I didn't talk about comments. So I'm going to try and make sure I remember to put comments in each cell I create and just explain to you guys the importance of having comments on your code. And I guess one last thing I would like to talk about is why Python. Like, one thing I really struggled with, like when I started learning Python, is because I was learning all these things in pieces. Like, I'm learning inputs today, I'm learning loops tomorrow, I'm learning about variables, and I'm like, I just want to analyze data. How do these things come together? So you can get data probably out of a database or in the form of an CSV or an Excel, and it has various columns, yeah? So let's say, for example, you have a column that has people's names, another that has people's age. And for some reason, when you import that data into your environment, the age column is changed to a string, yeah? So when that happens, you'll be able to manipulate it. Like if you want to probably get the average age, among other things, you can manipulate it till you change that column into the appropriate data type. So yeah, I'm really going to not really going to try, like going forward, I'm going to try and explain the relevance of what you're learning to data analytics and data science. So when we get to building projects, you can already anticipate the dots are connecting. Yeah, I'm just trying as much as possible to, give you a better experience than I had. So anyway, let's start. So as I mentioned before, we are going to be looking at 4 data types. So we're going to be looking at strings, we're going to be looking at float, and we're going to be looking at, so the short form for Boolean is bool, and lastly, integer. So it's also int. So as you've seen, I put a hashtag in front of this. So this is a comment. So even if you run the cell, nothing will happen. Like you'll hear a comment out. So you're just putting, now when Python runs the cell, it will, for lack of better words, jump over that line. Like this is not code. It does not recognize it as code. So it's just where you can write what you're doing, because sometimes you can write very long and complex code, and even you yourself, you can forget the logic behind what you're building. If you come back 6 months later, a year later, someone else could be benefiting from your work. So it's very important to make sure you're explaining to the smallest detail that you can what exactly you're doing. So that's what comments are meant for. So like here, we want to work with string, float, Boolean, and integer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create variables called, okay, let's just use X. So X, we're going to put a string, and let's use my name somewhere. Y is going to be an integer, 25, and then Z will be a float. We're going to do 2.6. Let's do 2.0, and we can change this to 2. And then the last variable we're going to create is going to be B, and we're going to name B true. And you see it's turned blue because it's a Python keyword. We talked about that a bit in the previous video. So we could run this cell, Control Enter. Again, I explain how to run a cell because I like not to take the small things for granted, because sometimes you can run quickly to the actual code, but something that's basic as navigating the notebook can be a bit tricky. But yes, to run the cell, do Control Enter or click here. Okay, so now that we've run the cell, we've created a variable in X, which is storing somewhere, Y storing 2, Z storing 2.0, B storing true. So let's check what is the data type of each of these variables. So you just do type into brackets, put X. Oh, I was planning to use comments more. So here I just like putting 2, but 1 is enough. Checking. Oops, checking the data types of the variables created. Okay, so type X. So to save on time, we can just do Control copy, then 1, 2, 2, Control copy, 2, 3. So we have X, Y, Z, and B. So again, who can guess what's going to happen when we run this one? So let's run it. As you can see, it's only giving us the data type of the first line, the last line we wrote. So as I'd explained earlier in the previous video, like what Python does, it will run this, then it comes here. After it finishes that, it comes here, it comes here. So since this is the B, variable B, which is a Boolean, was the last one, that's the result we'll get. So if we want to get all the data types, we can ask it to print all of them. Okay. There we go. So yeah, to just make it a bit more, you can put here like something like data type of variable. You can just say variable X, and then remember to space. We do the same for all of them to just make our output look nicer / make more sense. ZB. So let's run it like this. What are we getting here? Ooh, it wants us to okay, let me so I just removed the print, like I put it on its own print. So like here, data type of variable X, string, data type of variable Y, integer, Y, data type of variable Z, float, and data type of variable B. Yeah, so if you want to be extra, or should I say neater, you could also put some space. Okay, but this is not really the the purpose of this, but yeah, I just want to show you how it would look better, because you see now there's some space, you can easily differentiate. But anyway, that is not the point of this. That is just me being a neat freak. But yes, so if you want to check the data type of a variable, you simply put type into brackets, put the variable you're interested in, or even the object itself. So if you're like type, and then let's put YT, yeah, YouTube. So if you do Control Enter, it's a string, yeah. So you could either show it as a variable, you could check the data type directly, but yes, you use type. So the next thing we're going to look at is how to convert a data type. So here, changing data types. So we're still going to use variable X, Y, Z, and B. Okay, let me just bring them down here so that we can remember. So when you have a long block of code, how you could easily, I do this in Postgres. I'm honestly not sure. Oh no, this is for Postgres. It does not work in Python. So if you have one, two, three, yeah. 1, 2, 3. So in Python, if you have like a long block of code that you'd like to comment out, instead of putting hash, 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 you just put 3 quotation marks at the top and at the bottom. So this is where it will start to comment out. It ends here. So I'm just putting this here so we can remember. Now, what do we want to do? We want to change this y, which is an integer, into a float. So what we'll basically do is we'll just do float, then put y. And then after that, we can also store it in a variable, in a variable. So equals to y underscore 2, yeah. And then let's come here and we do type y underscore 2, and we can also print y underscore 2. So let's run that. Yay, it's upload 2.0. Oh, we needed to print this. So print. Yeah, so you can see it's a float and it's 2.0. So the next thing we're going to do is changing the data type for Z. Changing the data type of variable Z. So we're going to change it into a string. So Z underscore 2 is equals to string Z print type Z underscore 2, then we print Z underscore 2 itself, and there you go, string. Yeah, so it's our string. And now if you try and do something like let's do y times z, who can guess what will happen? We're going to get an error. Wait, why are we not getting an error? 4y times, but it's a string now, and you can't multiply string. Okay, I am honestly not sure. Okay, yeah, I see. So we changed z underscore 2 into a string and not z_2 into a string and not okay. So I also just learned something new. So it turns out when you multiply a string by an integer, the string will appear the number of times of that integer. So like for example, when I did x times y, some y appeared twice. So that means here 2.0, 2.0 is appearing twice. I've learned something new. And maybe before we continue, and this is like it's supposed to be a short video, but clearly I'm talking too much in the middle, is just try, you know? Like I remember when I started my first role, my SQL was not like, you know, up there, you know, and I would just try. Like my common sense, my logic is saying combine this and this and this. I combine. I look at the output. Is it what I expected? If not, I go back and debug and figure out which logic I didn't get wrong and fix it. And I guess that's why I intentionally decided not to pause and edit this part out or delete this part out. I just wanted to show you that no one knows everything. I paused this video, I went on Google because I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me, and now I know why. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think probably that's, oh, we can just do one more example on changing data types, and so I'm just going to get rid of this. And the last example will be on Booleans, yeah? So true, false can also be represented as 1, 2. So if you do bool 1, yeah, and you run that, you get true. When you do bool 0 and you run that, you get false. Yeah, and that's it for this video. Like the main point of this video was to just introduce you guys to the various data types, and we've talked about strings, float, boolean, and integers. And yeah, I really hope you've learned something, and see you in the next one. I'm really enjoying these videos. Like I didn't think I would enjoy them this much, but yeah, I'm really enjoying them, and I really hope that you are enjoying studying with me. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye.